Hey, it's Sarah Jane from Access Your True Nature, and I am coming to you from a very wet and rainy grey day. I don't know if you can see out there. I'm sitting in my car waiting for my daughter, and she's about to come out of her swimming lesson in a moment. And I've had a couple of people this week that have asked me to help them to get really clear on their story and their message, and I'm wondering if I am live. Yes, I am. Hi. For those of you that are popping in late. Hi, Anjana. So yeah, just a quick one, and I might expand on this a little bit later on today. I have got my power back restored. I was in the dark until 12 o'clock last night, which was really interesting, and gave me a great opportunity to just use the time to go in and look at my story and to really get clear on some of my clients' stories, to get their mess into a message that really works. Hi, Nikki. And it's great to see you all popping in here. So I know this is very relevant to where some of you are in your life, and I really just wanted to just invite you to looking at how are you communicating your message in a way that really creates connection with the people that matter most to you and who you're here to serve, and how essential that is to how you spread your ideas and how you get your business and your expertise into a place where you move people into action. And there's no better way to do that than story, because we're hardwired for story. Our brains really light up when we hear a very compelling narrative, because stories help us understand the world around us, and they help us to see the connection between where we are and where we want to go. And this is a lot about energy and moving people. And that's your job, to tell your story with a whole heart. So what makes a good story? And more importantly, how do you tell your story so that you resonate with your clients in a way that really is authentic and inspiring in the way that they take action? So if you are not telling your story, and you know, Brene Brown talks about story as courage, as telling your story with a whole heart. And that's really what I love to do, is get people out of their way, out of their mess, and get very clear in the message of what it is that they are trying to impart, without push, without the hustle and the grind, but really just to really tap into, you know, what really moves you. You're stuck in traffic? Cool, Nikki. Well, like I said, this is going to be a short one because I'm about to get back in the traffic myself. But I just wanted to encourage you today to look at what is the story that you have been telling yourself. Where are you so stuck in your story of the yes, but, and the really is the big fat but that keeps you stuck in this perpetuating cycle of lack and scarcity, and not in a place of overcoming objections of, if you're feeling it, I always say this, you are your you are your ideal client. So if you can actually hold a space for yourself to look at, is it true? What is the lie that you're telling yourself? And change your story. Look at what if I could, and what if I did try something else, and what if I did get into being, you know, telling my story from the big messy experiment of, I don't have all the answers, and being really transparent. That is heart connection. That is how you connect with people that resonate with your pain, your struggle, and then you get to step up and share your experience and how you've overcome those obstacles in your own life. And that is what becomes your signature story, your signature program to get people from where they are now to where they want to be. So we're always looking at, how do we close the gap? How do you close the gap with your story? And how do you actually start to look at, what is the clarity? So get clear on your message, and then decide, what do you want to communicate, and what story do you want to tell from your PhD of life experience? And then who is your audience? Who do you want to communicate that message to? Because the more that you know about your ideal client, the easier it is for you to connect with them. So Have a look at that today and really pay attention to the world around you. Pay attention to the little details of where you actually can help people. Listen to what they're saying. Because when you give somebody something that they can believe in, and let's face it, access to information is just a Google away every single time, and story is how we connect the dots, because we are our stories. And when we tell our stories with a whole heart, that is the courage and the place of connection where you actually make a ton of impact, not just in your own life, but in the lives of the people that are looking for you and what only you have to give the way that you have it. And that's always going to be based on, what is it that I know with a whole heart? Where was I? And what experiences have I overcome? What obstacles have I overcome? And how can I share that with other people that are maybe where I was 6 months ago, or a year ago, or 10 years ago? If I hadn't had the experience of being highly sensitive, of being always felt wrong, that I was never enough, that I was just too sensitive. And let's face it, if anybody today is telling you that they don't suffer from some sense of depression in the world the way that it is now, they're lying to themselves. And when you can actually connect with those people, to tell them, hey, you know what? It's okay to be feeling the way that you're feeling. Thank you, Anjana. It's okay to be feeling a little sad. It's okay to, wake up in a day today that for me was rainy and it was grey and it's really bad weather. But there is a grayness around the day that sometimes reflects to us exactly what we're feeling inside. And when we can show up and express that feeling of, it's a grey day, I'm feeling a little low today on energy, or perhaps I don't want to get out of bed, or perhaps I don't want to go and do that thing that I know that I have to do. That's when you create heart touching. Hello, Monique. That's when you touch people's hearts. When you can really say, you know what? Feel what you're feeling. You can't heal what you don't feel. And when we can step into a place of telling our story with a whole heart and being brave, that's where magic happens. So I invite you to tell a story today, and you can post that on the comments and questions below. But share a story and know that you matter and your voice matters. And when you can show up from that place, everything changes. The world is starving of connection. We all want to reach out and touch somebody. We all want to be touched by the story of somebody else's lives and what they're going through. And that's such a deep, fertile space of listening, when we can hold that space and just be touched by that person and moved by their story and where they're at. That's when we can actually show up in just serving from a place of holding space, that we don't need to fix anything, that we're not intrinsically broken, but that we're all human. And that's part of human connection. That's how we grow, is through listening to other people's stories and listening to the wisdom in where they were and how they overcame whatever it was that they have overcome. So I encourage you this Tuesday to choose a different point of view on your story and look at where you're holding